ignorance flow through each life. Through samsara flow laughter, tears and strife. Rest be mindlessly red delusion, burning on and on in illusion. For the Dhamma to study, we're grateful. Concentrate, deeply watch, this useful. Knowing clearly there's nothing but Dhamma. From the bonds of suffering, we are free. For the Dhamma to study, we're grateful. Concentrate, deeply watch, this you fool. Knowing clearly there's nothing but Dhamma. From the bonds of suffering, we are free. Với dòng thác vô minh ta luân hồi, có khổ đau có tiếng cười cùng nước mắt. Vô minh luôn sâu dày nơi chúng ta. Ta mù quáng, ta đắm chìm trong bên mê. Đến với Dhamma bớt u mê tan dần si, giúp cho ta thêm giác ngộ về các pháp. Ngoài các pháp không có gì cần liễu tri. Hết vô minh dứt hoàn toàn mọi khổ đau. Đến với Dhamma bớt u mê tan dần si, giúp cho ta thêm giác ngộ về các pháp. Ngoài các pháp không có gì cần liễu tri. Mãi tri ân ánh sáng của Dhamma.
Not hearing you, Tam. I don't know why. I'm not hearing anything. I can't hear anything.
It's normal that you don't hear me because I was speaking in Vietnamese.
Right. Okay. I'm good now. Here.
Yes, so
I can hear you
Hello,
chattering in Vietnamese.
Sarah.
Hello, Abraham. Hello.
Yes. Hello, John. Mọi người chờ con một chút ạ. Số phòng là 8242
Hello, everybody.
1810352. Vâng, con xin kính chào cả nhà Đàm. Con kính chào quý thầy cô cùng các anh chị em. Không biết âm thanh mọi người nghe có được rõ không ạ?
Nghe rõ.
Dạ vâng, cảm ơn anh. Dạ em cảm ơn chị.
Giáo Lê Hằng ạ. Xin.
Vâng.
Recording in progress.
Vâng, trước khi vào thì con cũng xin nhắc mọi người là mình để ý mic. Nếu như mình không nói thì mình tắt mic để đỡ tránh tiếng ồn trong Zoom ạ. Và ai có câu hỏi thì mọi người giơ tay để cho ban admin có thể biết để mời nên đặt câu hỏi. Vâng, trước khi mình vào thì mình cũng để xem là Achan đã vào hay chưa để mình cùng chào Achan cũng như ông bà Sarah.
Dạ, con cũng có xin thêm một cái lưu ý thêm là các quý vị khi đặt câu hỏi thì thông thường Achan, Sarah và John cũng sẽ muốn nói tiếp hoặc hỏi thêm ấy ạ. Thì mình cũng bật mic và phản hồi lại các cái câu hỏi để cảm giác là đang có một cái mạch giao tiếp. Dạ, con xin cảm ơn.
Hình như là mình thay đổi số phòng nên là nhiều người không biết để vào. Các cô đều vừa hỏi mình cái số phòng Zoom.
Tuần trước mà Hằng có gì thay đổi so với tuần trước đâu. Mình làm
Nhưng
lần
mọi
này là
người
hết
cứ
tuần
vào
trước.
cái Zoom 5330 ấy.
Tại vì mọi người không nhớ cho
Chị
mọi
Tâm
người
ơi,
đã
vậy chị
vào
Tâm lead
thông báo
MC
từ
đi.
trước mà.
Achan đã ở trong phòng rồi. Hằng sẽ giúp trong công tác tổ chức ở đằng sau.
Achan, are you there?
everyone.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
ท่าน
ท่าน
อา
อา
จา
จาร ร
ย์
ย์ สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับท่านอาจารย์
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Achan.
Dạ. Không biết là cả nhà mình có ai có câu hỏi muốn đặt ra không ạ?
Just wonder if we have any question for today.
Nếu mọi người chưa có thì 08 có câu hỏi dự phòng trước nhỉ?
Vâng, thế thì con tiếp tục với câu hỏi cô Trúc Thanh. Lại ra cô Trúc Thanh, cô ấy cũng chắc cũng đang vào đấy. Thì
So we will start with a question from Trúc Thanh. Yeah, Hằng will talk in Vietnamese first and then we will translate into English.
Vâng, bữa trước thì cô Trúc Thanh cô có muốn hỏi về hai loại thực tại đó là vô minh và tà kiến. Và bữa trước thì Achan cũng đã giảng về vô minh và cô cũng muốn biết thêm về tà kiến nữa ạ. Và con xin thỉnh Achan có thể giải thích hoặc chia sẻ giảng cho cô Trúc Thanh đã vào đây rồi ạ. Cô có nghe được âm thanh không ạ?
Dạ có, rõ chị.
Dạ vâng. Con mời cô trực tiếp nêu câu hỏi tiếp với Achan ạ.
Dạ. Dạ, con kính chào Achan và các bậc giảng sư. Đức Phật dạy là về sự thật. Tất cả các thực tại xuất hiện trong đời sống hàng ngày, ví dụ như là cái thấy, cái nghe, sự dính mắc, hoặc là tính chất cứng, mềm, và tất cả các thực tại khác nhau. Nó sinh khởi, nhưng mà như mình thì vô minh về tất cả các thực tại và tính chất nó diễn ra, nên là cho là mọi thứ xung quanh là tôi, là cái của tôi, nên có cái hiểu sai về ở nơi đó. Thì con muốn được nghe thêm về điểm này, nghĩa là sự khác nhau giữa vô minh và tà kiến ạ.
Dear Achan, John and Sarah, so the Buddha had taught about the truth and the realities in daily life. It is hearing, listening, attachment, softness or hardness, and everything that appear. But due to ignorance, because ignorant of the reality, we take that for me or mine. And I want Achan and John and Sarah explain more about the difference between ignorance and ditthi, wrong view. Thank you.
So now, what is right and what is wrong? What is there now appearing?
Mời cô
See?
bật mic lên để trao đổi trực tiếp với Achan ạ.
Quên cái bên đây không có cái chỗ chấm để bật chuyển qua bên kia để nghe chị ơi.
Chị Tâm hình như chưa dịch đúng không?
Không, chị Tâm dịch rồi. Cô đang ở phòng
Hải-
tiếng Việt, cô nghe được rồi đấy cô.
Chưa
Chị Tâm
có
nói
nghe.
lại một chút. Chị Tâm nói
Dạ
lại
không.
em cũng không nghe được đoạn đó.
Chị Tâm dịch rồi.
When there's no understanding of the truth of it, what is it? As it's they're taken to be something, someone, somewhere. But in truth, it's just a reality because it's real, it's there. But who knows that it's there by conditions? No one there at all. Do you need translation?
Yes, Achan.
Yes, it's already done, Achan.
Okay. We just talk in English. Is that right?
Yes.
Just carry on in English is fine, Ajahn, and they're translating at the same time. They
Yeah.
just translate for the questions, but for when we speak, we just continue speaking as normal. So you can just continue on.
The question is about just what is there now, right or wrong? Who knows? If there's no understanding of the truth, it is something. Is that right? Usually in a day, always something and someone in one's life. Is that right or wrong? See, beginning to know what is right and what is wrong from the very beginning. So it is not just from the book, but it's now. Whether what appears as it is, rightly or wrongly. If Buddha didn't tell us about the truth of what is there, how can it be known that what is there is taken wrongly to be something while it's not there anymore? Whatever is there, just in split seconds, and then fall away instantly. Is it right or is it wrong? From now on, have confidence of what is right, what is true, and what is not true, to understand that what is there in life. No understanding of anything at all from birth to death, and nothing gone forever, never to arise again. Just one moment of appearing and then gone. From life to life, it's there. Is it right or wrong? See? This is the way to understand what is right, what is true, and what is not right, and what is wrong, what is not true. To begin to be understanding person of what is there in any case, any situation. But the understanding has to be from something to something to something, because so many things in a day, so many things in one's life. So without understanding just one reality at a time, can there be the understanding at any moment that that is wrong and what is right? So now they can be listening and considering about what has been in life before hearing the teachings about the truth of it. And when there is moment of hearing, considering, there has to be understanding whether it's true or not. Just firm confidence of what is right and what is true. Develop on and on and on to understand what is there in life before death. See, otherwise death can come any moment without any understanding of what is there now and on and on. That's why we begin to understand the virtues of the Buddha. No understanding at all of that which is now appearing. And then there can be a moment of beginning to consider the truth and understand that nobody can change the truth at all. It's there, anytime, all the time. How come? By conditions, not I do or I will or anyone can do. Impossible, because that idea is already arisen by conditions to think just like that. So understanding what is there in life, no matter to be a bad person or good person or understanding person, all depends on conditions. That's why there can be less akusala towards the other, because no one can understand the truth. And the accumulation of each personality of each one cannot be changed. It depends on what condition that which is there accumulated to arise, to show up as it is, as what is it. But no understanding or with understanding, that is another case. That's why just live with understanding to understand the truth, or just live without any understanding of what is there at all. From life to life, from life to life, no way out of ignorance at all. That's why just hearing, considering the word of truth about what is there from moment to moment, depending on conditions, to begin to have thought about it rightly, correctly. What is there now? It's gone, see? But there is another one again and again. So very rapidly, unknowingly, it seems like there's nothing arise and falls away at all. But in truth, whatever arises falls away instantly. And there must be proper conditions for whatever arises to be just that. And that can be developed from hearing again and again and again about the truth of what is there. Even the understanding intellectually is so very important, because without it, how can there be any understanding of the truth of no one at all? Because just there is birth and then on, seeing, hearing, smelling, and then die. What were there after death? Gone. So each moment is gone as death, never to return. Just keep on by conditions, arising and falling away all the time. Is that dangerous? Or it doesn't matter at all what comes? But in truth, it's not like that. Because as soon as whatever is there is experienced, no one there. So it's I all the time. But in truth, before birth, where's what we take for I, and after birth, can there be this I again? That's why, is it true? So what is there in this life? To be the best in life is understanding the truth of what is there. Just for those who can see the benefit of understanding rather than be ignorant from moment to moment, no understanding at all of what is there, which can condition different moments like sadness and despair and on and on and on. Is this true? That's all. Just learn to understand the truth and what Buddha taught about all realities that he had experienced for the other to understand whether it's true or not. So the way to understand who's the Buddha and his great virtues is only moment of understanding the truth of what is there, which is so very subtle that anyone can think about it, even from hearing again and again and again. Understanding just a moment is not enough. It has to be developed on and on and on. until it gets closer and closer and closer to the truth. This is why we just come together and talk about the truth of what is there, little by little, to know and to understand a little more about what is there as it is. Is that true?
Dạ, câu hỏi cho cô Trúc
Cô
Thanh
Trúc
đấy ạ.
Thanh, mời cô bật mic để trả lời với Achan ạ.
So we can talk about anything in life to understand the absolute
Sao chị?
truth.
So just to add a couple of comments to Sister Tan's question, whenever there is any kind of akusala, any moments of aversion, any moments of ignorance, any moments of attachment, there is moha at those moments, not understanding anything about the truth, not understanding what is kusala or akusala, no understanding at those moments. So this is a Cetasika that arises with all akusala, one of the three roots. In addition, at moments of aversion, besides ignorance, there is also dosa. And at moments of attachment, in addition to the ignorance, there is lobha arising with pleasant feeling usually, or with neutral feeling, in addition to not understanding anything about what appears. There is clinging to the object. So at the moments of liking what is seen, liking what is tasted, attachment is there and ignorance is there. And in addition, at those moments, there can be not only the clinging, the lobha, there can also be the wrong understanding, taking what is wrong for being right, taking it for an apple or a person that is seen, rather than understanding it as just a reality, just a visible object. So the ignorance can arise with attachment, and when it arises with attachment, it can arise with or without wrong understanding. It can be just liking, no thought about what it is that is there, or liking but with wrong understanding. Also, there can be clinging with ignorance and mana, no wrong understanding at the moments of conceit, when usually there is some comparing or finding oneself important in some way or other. So it's a different Cetasika. So only Panya can understand what the reality is when it appears. And when there is attachment, when there is liking, understanding can understand at those moments that it is liking, it is clinging. When there is wrong understanding, when it's subtle, it doesn't appear, but when it's strong, when it's clearly the wrong understanding that I am seeing, I am hearing, it's my experience, at those moments there can be understanding of ditthi, of the wrong understanding, different from just ignorance, just not understanding anything at all. So we can talk about when the different Cetasikas arise and what the difference is, but actually only the understanding now can understand what appears. If ignorance doesn't appear now, we just talk about it and learn about the story, but it's not the understanding of the reality at this moment. If there is understanding of attachment now, a little more understanding can develop. So it has to come back to this moment. And if we just want to know about ignorance and wrong view, but have no interest to understand about the seeing now, or the softness, or the hearing, which you mentioned, then there can be the wrong view, the wrong practice, trying to catch the ignorance, trying to catch the wrong understanding. So we can see that it's very subtle, just to understand naturally what appears, not trying to know any reality in particular. Do you have any more questions or comments, Sister Tam?
Dạ vừa rồi mà Sarah với cha nói thì con thấy rất là hoan hỷ là khi có cái điểm nếu mà không xuất hiện thì mình trí nó không hiểu thì mình chỉ là đang nói về một câu chuyện thôi, câu chuyện về thực tại thôi, rồi mình chú ý để mình nghe, để mình tìm hiểu thêm những cái điều mình cần biết, thì ngay chỗ đó mình đã quên đi những cái gì nó đang xuất hiện thì mình có thể được hiểu thì những điều đó là nhắc nhở, đó là rất thực tế. Đôi khi mình lại lầm tưởng mình đang tìm hiểu giáo pháp nhưng mà mình lại là quên những cái thực tại có thể xuất hiện và được hiểu
Yes, I'm very glad to hear the explanation and the teaching. And my key takeaway is that if the Dhamma is not appear, then it is a story about the reality. So when we try to listen, we try to understand the explanations. Actually, there can be a moment of forget about the reality, and we can mistaken that is to learn about the reality, but we actually forget about the reality.
Yes, that's exactly right. So this is why the wise consideration and the careful attention to what appears is so very subtle. Even when we think there is wise considering and listening carefully, in between there can be moments of taking what is seen, what is heard for someone or something. There can be in subtle ways that trying to understand the reality that is being talked about. For example, if we talk about phassa, contact, usually it doesn't appear, but if we're talking about it, maybe they're trying to understand that reality. So we can see that even at these moments of listening and considering and hearing about different realities, there are countless moments of ignorance, not understanding, and also countless moments of taking what is experienced for a person or a thing, and countless moments of trying to understand, trying to be aware, trying to know. This morning in another discussion, we talked about when there is curiosity and trying to differentiate this or that reality, or trying to know why a certain reality like apo dhatu, water, doesn't appear, and so on. Usually there's no understanding of the clinging at those moments, just wanting to try to find out the answer, trying to understand why this, why that. So actually what the Buddha taught about, as you mentioned, is now. It's about the truth now, what appears now. And the ignorance is now, the seeing is now, the ditthi is now. So I appreciate that you appreciate how subtle it is and how these different realities we're talking about are actually here and now. And I think Jonathan has a comment to add.
If we want to understand the difference between ignorance and wrong view, we need to understand what wrong view is. And if we want to understand what wrong view is, we need to understand what it means by a view. Because as we all know, there is right view as well as wrong view. Right view is right understanding, understanding of the way things are in truth and reality. And when there is understanding of the way things are, there is that knowledge. There's no room, of course, for any doubt at a moment of understanding as to whether the understanding is correct or not. There could be doubt at later moments, but at the time of understanding, because of its nature, it knows the way things are. Now, wrong view is mistaken understanding of the way things are. And similarly, when there's wrong view, there can't be any doubt about whether it's right or not, because it is thought to be the correct understanding. That is the nature of wrong view. It thinks it's right understanding. And people wonder, why can there not be doubt together with wrong view? And that's the answer. It's not just an idea about the way things are. It is believed that there is knowledge and understanding correctly of the way things are. So both right view and wrong view involve the conviction as to the way things are in truth and reality. But one is correct and one is mistaken. So this helps us to see easily the difference between ignorance and wrong view. Because ignorance is just not knowing the object at the moment. It's different from, obviously, wrong view, because there's no belief that there is right understanding at that moment. And when it comes to what is appearing now and being seen, and the ideas of people and things, we can appreciate that if there's dosa towards the object that's being seen or touched, we know that there can't be wrong view arising with dosa, because wrong view is rooted in attachment and dosa is not. So if there's no wrong view at the moment of dosa, is there suddenly wrong view if there's attachment rather than dosa towards the object? I think it has to be something more than just the idea of that's the image of so-and-so I can see on the screen, or that's my computer, or this is my pen. There's got to be, as I understand it, the belief that there is an understanding as to the way things are in truth and reality. And I think for much of the day, and this will vary from one person to another, of course, depending on accumulated tendencies, but it may be that no thought is really given consciously to the way things are in truth and reality. Now, Ajahn has reminded us, and this is always useful to hear, that wrong view arises as a, what's the word I'm trying to think of? That's not apparent.
The asava.
The asava. Wrong view is arising as an asava continually, and other akusala tendencies are arising as asava too. But it's not apparent at that time, so it doesn't manifest. It can't be the object of awareness and understanding if it's not apparent, if it's an asava. But it's there, and obviously it influences the way the world is perceived. But in terms of things, what is appearing at the present moment, it may not appear continuously throughout the day just because there's an idea of a table or a chair. But there may be no real belief as to its ultimate validity. So just to summarize, ignorance is not knowing. Wrong view is thinking one understands correctly, but being mistaken about that.
Dạ. Con rất cảm ơn xin ông trên giải thích thêm cho cái đoạn mà ông nói về chánh kiến và tà kiến á, nó liên quan đến niềm tin và cái cách mà bản chất của mọi thứ, là có phải chăng là khi mà có chánh kiến thì nó hiểu đúng, mà lúc mà và có niềm tin nơi đó mà không thì ngược lại là có cái sai, tà kiến nó hiểu sai không ạ? Xin ông giải thích thêm về đoạn này ạ.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, John. Can you talk more about the difference between the wrong view and right view? And you say that the wrong view is the convictions of things and not knowing that the things of the way things as they are, and because of the wrong view, so that we take things for the wrong. For not there.
Well, I don't know I can say much more except this. Wrong view can condition wrong practice. Wrong view can condition wrong practice. So, for example, if one has the view that by doing such and such, there is going to be kusala citta arising, and then that is obviously wrong view, because doing an act cannot be a condition, an automatic condition for kusala citta to arise. So I think if one considers it in that way, it helps us to appreciate that wrong view has to involve more than just the idea of a table or a computer or a person or a voice, but it's an idea, a strong idea about the way things are, what conditions what is the way to develop understanding, but mistakenly, what is the way to have more kusala, but one not appreciating that it's all conditioned, for example, that kind of thing. And one final comment. I think the characteristic of wrong view has to be the idea that one is understanding correctly. That's its characteristic, but that one is mistaken about that. So as to how often this arises in a day is impossible to say. Everyone will have to, a person can only know for themselves. One cannot tell for another person. But thinking about, reflecting on the characteristic. And also reflecting on the difference between ignorance and wrong view, and between wrong view and right view. I think these things can help to one have a better appreciation of these different realities.
Đó rồi chị.
And of course, the question is, what is now? Is it clinging, wishing to hear the answer, ignorance, or wise considering, seeing, hearing? So, of course, what's important is the understanding right now of just what appears, even when we're hearing the details, even when considering. Otherwise, it is, like you said, just a story. So if there's no understanding now, then there's no value at all. So it all comes back to this moment and understanding what life is now. And the main point is that they're just different dhammas. It's not my ignorance, my wrong understanding, or someone else's. They're just realities which arise and fall away instantly.
Another way to consider it is that one can think that attachment, just attachment, can condition agusala deeds like stealing or killing in a way, or whatever, or false speech. But just attachment wouldn't condition wrong practice. Unless, of course, one thought, like Angulimala was told, that the way for his development of the path would be to kill a certain number of people. And then he proceeded to do that in the belief that it would bring some development, some outcome in the way of development. But just acting out of lobha or dosa doesn't bring any. There's no idea that it's going to make one a better person, for example, or bring more kusala. May be done with the idea that life's going to be better afterwards, but that's a different consideration, like having more money, gaining more money with the idea that life will be better. That's not necessarily involving wrong view as I see, just attachment.
Không biết là cô Trúc Thanh có hỏi thêm gì không, thì tranh thủ con cũng muốn làm rõ hơn một cái điểm này. So John, you said that wrong view condition wrong practice. That is for sure. And at the same time, wrong practice is also wrong view at the same moment, right? Like now, if I try to catch the seeing or hearing, then the idea of I is there. So the difference between wrong practice and wrong view is about the specific idea of that is the way to get some kusala or some understanding, something like that. Can you say a little bit more? Thank you.
Well, I think you've summarized it fine. I suppose there can be wrong view without wrong practice. For example, just thinking that if I do such and such, then something else will be the result, without doing it. So there's the idea, but no practice at that moment. So practice, yes, is just a manifestation of wrong view through act of body or speech. We don't have to make a fine distinction there, because when there's wrong practice, there is wrong view motivating the action. But there can be wrong view without it motivating a practice at the time.
Right now, someone there that is seen, the idea of it's someone or I that is speaking, but no thought of focusing on that image or trying to do anything at those moments. So just very common, the wrong practice. The wrong view at the moments, like even now, someone there that is seen, this is Tam, this is Hung, not just speaking conventionally, but the idea that it is a person that is seen. So that is wrong view without any idea of doing anything at those moments.
John and Sarah.
I would like to add some comments on this issue. It's a very interesting one, I think.
Yes, go ahead, John. You said you want to have some more comments?
Chữ Acham, right? Frozen.
Dhamma is so very subtle, and how can there be less ignorance and attachment to this moment, because it's unknown, that it's there already. Whatever appears through ignorance and attachment as well. That's why just understand the way to have less attachment or unwholesome or wrong practice is only the moment of understanding the truth, that what is right and what is wrong. For example, right now, if someone tries to do something, for what? When there's no understanding, it's still I who is trying to do something, to get something, but no understanding of what is there at all. That's why it's so very subtle that now right understanding develops in its own way at moment of beginning to think about that which is there. While the other moment before now, it has no moment of, it's not moment of understanding or be interested in what is there at all. Never think about it at all until we come to talk about it or read about the teachings of the Buddha, read carefully, consider carefully to understand the subtlety of all Dhammas, because how subtle it is so close, but it's not known, and it cannot be known at all if there is no considering about what Buddha said. So no one say the right nature of what is there as Buddha, because not enough understanding or not understanding at all about the truth of what is there. Is it true at this moment now? No understanding of the truth of what is now appearing. And the only way to have a little more understanding is listening, reading carefully of each word of the teaching, and get closer and closer to the subtlety deep down now, what is now arising and falling away, for sure. But without understanding of each one, how can there be moment of attending to a reality which is there and then gone? See, closer and closer to the truth of this moment in life, little by little, so very patiently, with viriya and satya and so on. That's why only having more confidence of the truth from hearing, considering, and reading. It develops on and on. Today, there can be a little more understanding than 3 years ago or yesterday and whatever, but it develops unknowingly. That's why the moment of thinking about it, talking about it, understanding each different realities one by one can let go the idea of something permanent, because in truth, just one characteristic of a reality can be experienced in a moment only and then gone. See, understanding that very subtle reality arising and falling away can let go the idea of trying to do something so wrong to gain understanding by sitting or by doing something. No understanding of what Buddha said for 45 years. Each word takes quite a long, long time to understand deeper and deeper the truth of each reality as it is. Without hearing, considering, and reading, how can there be the understanding of what is there? Because no one can be like Buddha, enlighten all the truth, no matter this life, previous life, or next life, and on and on. That's why it's so very, very subtle. That's why no idea at all to try to do anything, but consider carefully about the subtlety of all dhammas, and right understanding develops by its own way, in its own way, not by the other way, or by anyone at all. And this is moment to moment when we are talking about the truth of what is there now. So the word that we have read from the book about life, reality, can be studied to understand it a little more. That is so close now, this moment, no matter what we talk about. For example, the reality, which is the chief of experiencing an object, is now see. See, it does not like or dislike. It just arises to see only by conditions. And when we ask about it, some would say, oh, it's by karma, and it is conditioned by the other realities arising together, experience the same at all. It's developed little by little to let go the idea of I see. But it takes quite a long time, as Buddha had developed before becoming enlightened as Buddha. See, that's why understanding that all dhammas are so very subtle can condition the understanding and letting go the idea of trying by the self or by wishing attachment to gain result. What is the result? It is now, this moment of beginning to attend to the seeing, even it's so very slight and not many moments, but it's there, little by little, to understand what is there as it is. That's why we talk about what is there, to understand the moment when it's there by conditions. So the reality which arises from birth, falling away, and arise again, on and on, non-stop, is now or any time. So when it is developed, accumulated, it can be a moment of beginning to understand that which is not the object, which is seen as usual. Because even right now, without the understanding of the characteristic which arises and experiences what is there experienced, see, begin to understand the difference between that which experienced and that which is experienced. That's all. In a day, from life to life, every moment. beginning to develop the understanding firmer and firmer of the truth that actually life is just a moment of experiencing an object, no matter where and when, in what life, Deva or Brahma or hell or whatever. They're all the reality which arises to experience different objects by different conditions. That's all. Beginning to understand that all dhammas are anatta. It's there already. Is there any understanding of it? Now it's there seeing, or it's there hearing, or it's there thinking. See? And at that moment, the other reality can appear in daily life, unknown before. But after hearing about the realities, there can be a moment of beginning just to think about it. No matter it's pleasant moment, unpleasant moment, any situation, being criticized or being respected or whatever, any moment in life, just different realities all the time. That's why we learn to understand different realities, to understand in truth that they are different by conditions, by different degrees of conditions to arise to be of such state or degree of understanding or crime or whatever is there. And it's so true that when there is a little more attention to what is there, it develops by itself to one day there can be a little more understanding of the moment of listening to the music. Only the sound is there, or the reality which experiences is there. Be truthful to the truth and understanding it little by little. Otherwise, it cannot appear as it is, just there and then gone instantly. That is the absolute truth that can be realized, but only with panya, which let go, the clinging to other object, just one object at a time. That's why whatever is there in life can be known by conditions, no matter its moment of so pleasant feeling or so very bad feeling, or to live together with friends in some place talking pleasantly, or any time of reality is there to be known. But without the teachings about it, about the truth of it, how can it be known? And this is the very subtle path leading to understand what is there naturally by conditions, even no one there, which feels, which remembers, which like, which dislike, or whatever is there, beginning to be acquainted with the characteristic which is not self or anything or anyone at all. But it takes quite a long time. It's true. We know about what is seen as it's just that which can be seen, visible object, so very little at a time. But it does not appear as it is yet. That's why no self try to do anything but understanding a little more of what is said about it, no matter it is rupa or nama and so on, that it's there, so different by conditions. So how can it be taken for something permanent by nimitta? See, that's why just attend to the teachings about reality that is so true and so deep. Learn more about each reality which is taught by the enlightenment. Anything about this moment or other moment can be known little by little when there is the understanding of the truth of this moment. For example, the reality which arises to experience now is not known at all because it does not show up. What is there as what is seen is not that which sees. What is there heard is not that which is there here. See, that's why there can be the development of understanding little by little until it's so firm, until it can condition moment of just attending to the reality which experiences, not that which is experienced, and learn to understand that it's not like or dislike that object which is experienced, different ones. Mana is a reality, clinging, lopa, another reality, dosa, another reality. What is there appears as it is in the day, ready to be known, but only by understanding a little more of what is there, as no one and nothing, little by little. That's why we have heard a lot about it, and it does not appear as it is yet, but hearing again and again and again, patiently, firmly, more confidence. There can be condition for understanding little by little with direct awareness and right understanding, which has been developed to the degree that it can understand that. That's why the reality, which is the chief of experiencing, cannot be aware. Learn to understand different realities and understand in a day whether is there awareness or not. Who knows the characteristic of awareness when it's not level of the patipati, the higher understanding of what is there with the experience of the truth, little by little. That's why learn to understand that citta, the chief of experiencing, cannot perform any function of cetasikas at all. And all cetasikas cannot perform the function of citta. That's why what it's there in a day, who knows the characteristic, the reality which arises and experiences the object clearer than the other cetasika of the reality which arise together and experience the same object, but different characteristic, different nature, different function. Learn little by little to understand the truth of what is there, to have firm confidence of each of them as it cannot be taken for other thing like self or some other thing at all. And this is the understanding of what is there in life, little by little. That's why reading the teachings, each word carefully, hearing and considering wisely about what is there about seeing right now. See, without that understanding of a reality, no shape, no form at all, just arise and experience the object, arise to see. While when there is no seeing, no hearing, no smelling, no feeling, no thinking at all, it's there because it's conditioned to arise, to be a being, bhava, to experience the object. Even the object is known or unknown in a day. It's there. All of the words of the teachings about the truth develop gradually, wisely, subtly, and time comes when there is a little more understanding of different degrees of understanding. Now we talk about seeing, but not yet the moment of directly experience that. It just talked about to know that it's there, but it does not appear as it is to be known. But when there is a little more understanding, so it's time to be acquainted to the characteristic which arises to experience. Otherwise, we just talk about realities in words, but all we have learned or heard is the characteristic of each characteristic of reality, which is there, unknown before. And when there are a little more understanding of the truth, it can be known clearer, closer, little by little. And this is the teachings of the Buddha about Parami. Nothing can arise alone. There must be conditions for whatever is there as it is. No matter it's attachment, ignorance, or understanding, or metta, or whatever is there, all are different by different conditions. So learn a little more about our reality to have a little more understanding of the truth and the variety of the way it appears by conditions. Each word can be talked about to understand it a little more, a little clearer, to be conditioned to understand what is there as seeing even right now, or hearing, or thinking, or remembering. See, they are all there as no one at all. Lopa cannot be dosa, cannot be memory, cannot be feeling. See, each one is different reality. So what is that? See, if there's no hearing about them, how can there be the understanding of the difference reality at moment of kusala, wholesome, and moment of akusala? Who knows what is akusala? It's so pleasant. See, everyone wishes to have it more and more and more, not enough at all. That's why Buddha taught about the truth of everything. What is there is conditioned to arise and then gone instantly until it appears as it is. Otherwise, nothing can eradicate the idea of self and ignorance and attachment to such belief. Not in word, but it's there. But we have to use the term, the word, to point to that object or that reality. See what is there. See? No thought about it at all. No condition yet to be aware, to understand it, even just a moment. And this is the way to understand the subtle truth, the Ariya Satya. So we can talk about any word that Buddha taught in the three Tipitaka to understand what is there as not self or anything at all.
Thank you, Achan, for your good sharing about the Dhammas and different reality now is the unknown and it's not appearing as it is now, but it's had a little bit more understanding about this as a different characteristic of the different Dhammas and no one there and nothing there. So I'd like to hear more about the dangers of the conditioned Dhammas. It's arising and falling away. Normally we don't consider about this, but is this really dangerous?
Can ignorance understand the danger of what is there arising and falling away?
No, Achan.
That's why only right understanding developed to the degree, stage by stage, to understand the danger of what arises and falls away. What for? Long time ago and long time in the future. What for? All gone. If it's not clearly understood, or experience directly, it cannot let go. Attachment and ignorance, because what appears now is not as it is. So understand that whatever arises and then gone, should it be object of attachment? See, only very simple question to see the danger of have wrong understanding, clinging to that which is not there at all. Is it dangerous or not dangerous? It hurts.
Dangerous. Yeah.
See, because one desire for it so much, that which is gone, and keep on thinking that it's still there to be attached. Try by any means just to get it, what for, and then gone instantly, unknowingly. So seeing the danger of not understanding the truth, conditions such and such moments in life, and what for, all gone. Useful or useless, wasting time or not. Is it harmful?
When you consider about it, it's harmful, but normally we don't see it. We see it as something. So
that's why Buddha kept on talking about the truth of everything, to be considered, to realize the truth until directly experienced at that moment. No doubt about the arising and falling away of now seeing and hearing, for example. Is it dangerous? It's not there anymore. While one thinks that it's there. Like the fire on the head, thinking or taking that as so very pleasant, worthwhile to cling, but in truth, nothing is there to be clung to. Waste time being this person in this life, because actually there's no one. Only wrong understanding, hurting oneself, thinking it's permanent. When it's so pleasant, how can there be the understanding of the danger of that which is not there anymore? Just keep on hurting oneself by clinging, desiring, wishing to have it.
So even the moment of birth consciousness, even the moment of seeing now, even the moment of hearing, whatever arises is said to be fearful and dangerous, because if there was no birth consciousness, if there was no seeing, if there was no hearing, there would be no clinging, no ignorance at all to them. So this is why actually all sankhara dhammas are fearful and dangerous in the deepest sense, not any refuge of any kind, because they fall away instantly, but they're taken to be lasting, they're taken to be worth clinging to. So the only refuge is the animated Dhamma, the unconditioned Dhamma. But that which arises and falls away is dangerous.
Thank you, Sarah, for your good comment. And then to understand about the dangers is another aspect of the dukkha. Can you understand it, that?
It is because what arises now falls away. That is why it is dukkha. That is why it's unsatisfactory. That is why it's not any refuge of any kind, even kusala dhammas, even panya, even sati. Whatever arises falls away. It is unsatisfactory. and that which is unsatisfactory and impermanent is a danger, is fearful, because it falls away, it's gone, but there's clinging and ignorance about it and wrong understanding all the time, again and again. Even the Sankhara Dhammas of the Arahats, they're the objects of clinging for others, ignorance for others. So even they are dangerous.
Sarah, but when you consider it's dangerous, so there's an idea, a thinking that we should avoid of the dangerous thing. So it's another idea of self, right?
The idea of I can avoid danger, I can avoid clinging, I can avoid ignorance. It's not the understanding of the conditioned nature of realities. When there is more and more understanding of the conditioned nature of realities as they are, firmer and firmer, deeper and deeper, then the understanding begins to appreciate why they are unsatisfactory, why they are dangerous. And especially when there has been the direct understanding of the arising and falling away of those realities, only then can there be the direct understanding of the danger of that which is gone instantly. But we can begin to appreciate the point. No one can avoid danger at all. While life goes on, while there is life in samsara at this moment, on and on, there is danger, there is fire on one's head at each moment. From the moment of waking up, thinking, seeing, hearing, to the moment of going to sleep, danger all the time, ignorance all the time, clinging to that which is gone all the time. No one can stop it, no one can avoid it. Only understanding can develop to see the truth and to appreciate that whatever arises cannot be a refuge, so that very gradually there is the turning away, the letting go of clinging to that which is so dangerous, the gradual turning away from what is conditioned by appreciating how dangerous it is, each conditioned reality.
So what arises
Better to know.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Please go ahead.
So what arises and falls away is dangerous. So it is that aspect of, because it arises and passes away, that it is dangerous. So actually, when we talk about dhammas like Intl.Dhamma, because that was the discussion at the end of yesterday's discussion, English discussion. So I was thinking a little bit about it. So the Dhamma by themselves are not dangerous, but because they rise and fall away, in that aspect they are dangerous. What is your comment?
I think that they are dangerous because they are objects of clinging to that which is impermanent, taking it for being a refuge when it cannot be any refuge. But the comment I was making at the end was that the Lokuttara Cittas cannot be the object of clinging. There cannot be any clinging to the Lokuttara Cittas. So I think we're talking about the Lokya, the worldly Sankhara Dhammas, when we're talking about what is dangerous. But Ajahn may have another comment. I think it's a fine point, a detail. But anyway, now for us, what is dangerous is the clinging now, the ignorance about the reality that is not understood and has gone anyway, taking whatever arises for lasting, for being something, and not appreciating how dangerous that ignorance and clinging is, and how, as Ajahn stressed, it's just clinging to nothing, empty air. But it seems that it's so important. It seems that it's something so special, but actually it's nothing at all that is the object of clinging.
What is there at moment when the world is breaking? Thinking about it. Now it seems that the world doesn't break. But what about at moment when it's breaking the world? See? Dangerous? Or what? What is there? And then break. And the world, the whole world is breaking. What about? Even there's no thought about danger, but at that moment of breaking up, is it dangerous? So now, no thought about the moment of danger, because nothing appears as rising and falling away. But in truth, thinking about the world when it's breaking, see, can we say that no danger at all? Or it's so danger when it breaks? And now, each moment is the world, for sure. Without a reality, there cannot be the world at all. And whatever arises falls away instantly. At that moment, is it not dangerous? Just break up. Thinking about that. And each moment is like that. Now, everything is all right. No danger. But in truth, thinking of the world and just a moment is a word. It has to be right understanding which can understand each reality, that it appears and it's gone, but it does not appear the moment of rising and falling away. But in truth, it's just like that. So what about that which just arises and falls away, breaking up all the time? Otherwise, there is no word danger or dangerous, right? The volcano or whatever breaks up everything, and that is the truth of each moment. It's breaking now. Thinking about the whole world at moment when it's breaking. And what about the reality? Each one breaks, fall away instantly. Do you like something breaking?
Yes, a lot, Ajahn.
See, that's why no one can see the danger of life at all until it appears as it is, so clear as it is, one by one, by nimitta of one reality. See, even so, imagine, can there be still attachment to that which is breaking all the time? Can that be realized? The moment of the nimitta of reality arise and falls away. Clearly, so clear, because now saying it's not hearing, But the moment when seeing arises in false way, and moment when hearing arises false way, does not appear at all. So how can there be such feeling or understanding the useless or the danger of that which is breaking? No more. Nothing can help. It has to be its own way, in its own way. Anyone would like to experience that?
Yes.
Really? And what about at that very moment of clearly realize the truth, which is just like now happening, breaking up all the time? See, would you like to still be there, breaking up all the time?
Yes, Ajahn.
Do you?
Because when we remind about the breaking word, we start to consider about it. But normally we just think about a lot of things, story and people.
So what did Buddha say?
It's the reality now.
Is it true?
Yes, it is.
When it's not directly experienced, no one just cling to it as before. Even now, hearing about the absolute truth, what is there? False way instantly all the time, as it does not appear as it is yet. How can there be such moment of not wanting or liking or being attached to that situation or that reality at all? It's breaking. See, ignorance still cling to it because it cannot realize the truth. So what did Buddha say? What is his word about what is there now? Arising and falling away, never to return. It's so true. The word is breaking. Each reality arises and falls away instantly. Can it be changed? Impossible. That's why learning to be true to the truth, develop the understanding to experience the truth, to have no ignorance of the truth. Does anyone like that dangerous thing?
At the moment of no understanding, we all like the all things. It seems it's lasting.
And this is the difference between ignorance and understanding. The truth and not the truth. Right and wrong. Understanding. That's why we learn about it, in order to realize the truth. The truth is the truth. It can be known. It can be realized little by little until it appears so clear as it is. Otherwise, what about anicca, dukkha, and anatta? Not the word, but the truth. That's why learning to understand the truth of what is there in life, what is the moment of awareness, what degree, I'm friendly or no I. It's just a reality which has that characteristic to be friendly. Sometime and other time not being friendly at all. At moment of criticizing or blame the others, even of their wrong, no friendliness, no sympathy, no understanding that is no one, but it's the different degree of such and such reality, conditioned by ignorance or right understanding. And right understanding conditions all kinds of wholesomeness. If you like everyone to be wholesome, or I or anyone, the world will be peaceful and so on, or anatta. No one can change the accumulation. So understand the world anytime, at different moments. It has to be there by conditions. It's useless and wasting time to cry over it. Understanding is the best thing, the best reality among all conditioned realities. It's not harmful at all. And it let go ignorance and attachment little by little, by the degrees of understanding developing on and on and on. So there can be a little more understanding of what is there in the day. The moment of dislike, the moment of kindness, the moment of understanding, the moment of helping, the moment of giving. Everything can be known about different realities. And understand what is wholesome and what is not wholesome. And it conditions all kinds of wholesomeness. More than before or than usual. Little by little. And that is great compassion, the best gift from the Buddha to everyone. So if there is any word from the book, we can talk about it to understand it a little more, to let go wrong understanding, ignorance, and cling to whatever appears by conditions.
Ajahn, just briefly, Tam's question was about lokuttara citas. So even though they can't be the object of attachment, they also arise and fall away, break up as soon as they have arisen. But can we refer to them as being dangerous when they cannot be the object of attachment at all? I think this was her question.
For next time, please, right?
Okay, you can bring it up next time, then.
Yes,
right,
thank you,
teacher.
Ajahn, and appreciating your sharing, John and Sarah. Thank you for your sharing today. It is very beneficial for all of us. Anumotana.
Anumodana, Gamma.
Thank you very much อาจารย์
Bye-bye,
ขอบคุณมากครับ
everyone.
ท่านอาจารย์